Hiya there folks, welcome back to the channel. This week I'm in the garage and I'm going to do something that I haven't done on camera before to give you guys something a little bit different. So what it is my daughter is now turning 14. I built her a high bed, must be 7.5 years ago, and now she's decided that she's a young lady. She doesn't want a high bed no more, so we've been looking around because she wants a bedroom sorted and decorated and changed about a little bit. We've been looking around to source a bed for her for the last month, maybe two, and she can't find nothing that she likes. So what I said to her was, or she asked me if I'd make her a bed, and I said yes, obviously I would. So I want to make it a little bit trendy, groovy, funky, whatever you want to call it. I want to give it a bit of character. Obviously it's going to be a one-off, so we want to make it a nice one-off. So I've made loads of beds for different people, you know, different styles, different headboards, whether they be metal headboards or wooden headboards, whatever. I've made loads. So it's not a rocket science job, you know. I mean, this one of the easiest things to make. Making the headboard and the footboard is the hardest bit. So, but what I use when I make a bed is I use these Isaac fittings. And how they work are, you got two different parts. They're all handed, left and right handed. You've got a fixing peg that goes onto your headboard or footboard, and then you've got the other part fits onto the side runner, and then when they obviously come together they lock into place. Downforce locks them in, holds them tight. And the good thing is, if you ever need to take your bed apart and move it for decorating or move it to another property, they're easy to come apart. There's no taking screws out. Obviously you've got to take your runners out, but you know, I mean, there's no screws holding the actual bed frame together. So they are a good idea. I wouldn't say they're the cheapest, but they make life a lot easier. So you know, I mean, I've always used these because they do make life a lot easier. So I'll show you more how to install and fit those when we get to this stage. So what I'm going to do is I'll move the camera. I'll show you guys the materials I've got already. I haven't sourced all the materials. Some of the materials I had on the shelf, on the rack. So I haven't got everything, but I've got enough to get us started. So what I'll do is I'll move the camera and I'll show you guys. I cheat a little bit, but you'll see in a minute, because what I use, perhaps people wouldn't even think about using. So anyway, you never know, you might learn something. So anyway guys, I'll move the camera and I'll see you in a second. Right, what I've got for the legs are some planed 4x3, but they're not actually, don't work out 4x3, they work out 95 by 70. I've got two. I've already cut these to length, so these just want sanding up to clean up because they've been stored in the rack for a little while. I've got two at 450 and then two at 850 for the headboard. She says she doesn't want it too high off the floor because she wants to be able to sit on the edge of the bed and watch telly. So I think the height I worked out is going to be between the floor and the base of the side runner is going to be about 260mm. So not a lot. And then what I'm going to do underneath her bed, because she's only got a small room, she's only got the box room, the oldest daughter's got the bigger room. So what we came up with the solution to for storage is I'm going to make her some boxes to go underneath her bed, but we'll do them on rollers, secret rollers, so when you look at the end of them all you'll see is the box, but she'll be able to just roll them in and out across the carpet. So that's the plan on how it's going to go. So we've got the legs there, they're all cut, cut to size, they just need sanding up. So the cheating part is, whenever I make a bed I always use wooden window board. It's fairly cheap, it's usually quite good quality timber. Okay, there's a few knots in it, but you expect that from a soft pine. So on a single bed, the side round don't need to be no more than 6 inches, about 150mm. These come as standard as 215mm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip off down to 150, and then I cheat by using the offcut. I flip it, screw and glue it to the back of the board, and that gives me my lip then to screw my bed boards, or I don't know what you call them, braces, boards, whatever they are, slats across the bed. So that usually works out pretty good. So anyway, we'll get over to the back table saw and we'll get these ripped down. Right, so I've now ripped those down to 150 and I ripped these down to 35. That will be screwed on the edge of there. So I'll screw all through here and glue it. Right, so I've now cut these to 150. I've now sanded them, give them a quick sand over, and I've also cut them to length 1900mm long, which is a standard length. I'll just show you quickly how to install these. This bit goes on to your headboard or footboard, depending on what side it is. So what you need to do is measure the depth of that, which I can tell you is 10mm, and then obviously you need to allow the gap between the headboard and that for that to fit into, and then they obviously slide in and lock in. But just a word of advice, don't fit that 10mm or space that 10mm in, because what happens is this edge of the bed rubs against the headboard and every little bit of movement makes a squeaking noise and it drives you absolutely crazy. So I always take off 1mm. So I've marked from the edge to there 9mm, and then what it needs to do is this line along here, which is along the edge of the hooks, this line here, oops, line, don't know, the light's not very good, I do apologise, but this line along here needs to go along your 9mm line. So let me zoom in a little bit. So once you've got your 9mm line in there, this needs to be situated so this edge here runs along your 9mm line. I've put a 10mm spacer at the top, so we've got a little bit of a gap at the top. So what I do is I peg it along the edge there, and on the edge of these, where are you? These, there is a little staple mark, so you can hammer them in and mark them. So then you can obviously align your screws and fix. So we'll put that so that's level in there, give it a gentle tap, and then it should drop down on the pencil line. Like that. So then what happens is when you've made your bed, that will come in and drop straight in there, and you've got your little bit of gap in the back there. Then once you've done that, obviously you just fix it. So what I'm going to do is use this countersink piece to screw through and then glue and screw that onto there, like that. And then that'll give me somewhere to screw my slats to, and also give me a decent height for the mattress to sit on, and then there shouldn't be too much of the mattress stick over the top. So we need to centre line this. Right, so I've cut some timber for the headboard and the tailboard. So I've cut the two bracing parts. So what I'm going to do now is, because I don't want to see screw holes everywhere, I am going to dowel them and glue them together. So I use the Woodcraft doweling jig, and simple to use. You obviously, I'll move the camera and I'll show you how to use it. I mean, it's not rocket science, but some people might like to know. So I'll move the camera and show you. Right, so what it is on the jig you have a fixed data point on the back, which you have to do it handed. So you have to take a little bit of note how you're doing it and which piece goes where. So you have to do it handed. So basically what it is you've got these back plates are numbered on the back here. One, I think they go from, let me just see if I can see, they go from 12mm up to 45mm, and that's the thickness of your wood. So that timber I'm using is just over 30mm thick, so I've set it to the 32mm, so it should give me, well, the dowels won't quite be in the middle, but it doesn't really matter. So what you do is you set it to the depth of the timber you're using, you put your data point stop in, so then that then goes onto the edge of your piece of wood. Move up this way so you can flip it so you can see. So that then lines up with that. So then these back pieces rest against the back of the wood, and then that gives you your centre holes. So then you clamp it. So you clamp that in place to stop it moving. So you've got your guides on the back, your data stop there, and then you've got an adjustable slide here to move up and down. Now what I've worked out with that, I can go in hole number 2 and number 4. So what you have to do is do each side at a time. So you'll do hole number 2 and number 4 on this, and then you'll do the same on the piece of wood here, but that will be for the other side because they're all handed. It takes a little while to get your head around it, but once you get your head around it, it works well. So put it into number 2, lock it down, and then you just drill out for your dowel with a 10mm. Well, you can change the inserts, but I'm using 10mm dowels. So that now gives me my holes for there and there, and then that'll fit straight in there and straight in there. So jobs are good. So the principle for doing these is exactly the same. It's just a case of putting them on there, marking them and drilling them. But like I say, you have to do them handed. So just be careful that when you do them, that you get them the right hand, because if not, when I first had this, I made lots of mistakes. So it's easy to do. So let's move these out of the way. So basically, push that on there so you're on your data line, and then just clamp up, stop it moving, and then you're ready to put these ones in. Right, so just show you how far I've got. So the footboard is all doweled, pegged, glued together, clamped up, drying. The headboard is exactly the same. So I'm going to leave those to dry overnight, and then I'm going to come back and finish those off. They're obviously going to need sanding and finishing off. The two sides are all done, ready to go. So I just need to think what I'm going to do for the headboard to make it how she wants it. So like I say, I want to do some planks, but I'll have a look and see what I've got and have a word with her, see what she wants. But anyway, leave that for now, guys, and then we'll come back and start afresh and when they're all dried up. Right, so the frames are all glued together. I've given them a quick sand over. They've got a final sand, but I'll give them a quick sand over. I've put on the retaining clips for the side rails, so they're all done. So what's left to do is the headboard, and then give it its final sand down, and then I think I'm going to give it a coat of just K-Brown wax. So what I'll do is I've put these through the thickness of planer. Well, I've cut these down from thick boards I had, put these through the thickness of planer, and I want these to sit flush with the legs. So the bits off, I've got these bits left from when we ripped down the sides, and they work out just the right thickness to allow them to be recessed into there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue and pin one on each side and one in the middle, and then I'm going to do the slats, but I want the slats so they're not all continuous, so hopefully I look a bit like a mixed match pattern. And some of the slats have got bits nicked out of them, which is what I want because I want a rustic look. So, or she wants a rustic look, shall I say. So let's get on with that and zip through it. Right, I've given that a quick sand over now. Excuse me. So that is ready for the wax. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this piece on the top here, so it gives it a bit of a finish, and then we can get it waxed up ready. Like I said at the beginning, I want to put some LEDs in the back so it illuminates onto the wall, just for a bit of a backlight really. So what I've got is I've got some addressable LEDs, and then I've got a Bluetooth controller so she can change the patterns and the running through her phone. Basically, so with the other one she had to use a little tiny remote and get underneath her bed to sort out. With this one she can control it through her phone, so that'd be a lot better for her. So what I'm going to do is I only want it illuminating up, so I'm just going to run the LEDs around the back of the headboard, and then that should illuminate up to shine at the back of the wall for her. So I'm just going to use some self-adhesive sticky pads and some cable ties, just going to cable tie it in place, and then we will stick the controller and the power adapter on the back of the headboard so that she doesn't have to worry about it, and it ain't going nowhere. So let's crack on with that, and then hopefully it'll be a quick sand over, and then a coat of wax, and then it's ready to go and she can use it. So yeah, let's get on with it. What I will do before I get carried away and connect it permanently, or not permanently but fix it permanently, I will double check and make sure that it works properly. When you get these, you've got a little scan code on the, don't know if you can see that, can you? Got a little scan code on the driver or controller, sorry. So what you do is you scan that to download the app for these lights. Right, so once you've downloaded the app, you need to go onto your Wi-Fi settings and connect to the driver, which this one's LED Net E155DD. So select that. Once you've selected that, that means your driver and your Wi-Fi on your phone is connected. So then come out of your Wi-Fi settings, go onto your app, and because I have other devices on the same sort of systems, it's coming to tell me that they're going to change to that driver. So click yes. So now I'm connected, now I can control those lights from my phone. So if I want to turn them off, I can turn them off. I want to turn them back on, turn them back on. If I select that, it then gives me a great big scale of fixed colours I can go with. So I can just pick a fixed colour, or there are preset ones which are here, I believe. Yeah, preset ones. So you've got loads of different presets you can go through. So there is a lot of scope with a little bit of lights to control off your phone. So like I say, I think she's only going to want just a basic colour, because at the end of the day she only has them on at night time for a bit of backlight really. But like I say, you've got, I think there's about 2,000 different colours you can have, so it's quite a good thing. And like I say, you also have the choice to put them to music. So you've got several different choices there. So yeah, they're a good little device, and to be honest, they're not expensive. I think for the meter of lights and the controller is about £15. So not expensive at all, and I think for what they are quite good. So anyway, I'm just going to make sure these still work, or work okay. So I'm going to go for colours: red, blue, pink, orange, green. That's supposed to be green, but that don't look green to me, do it? That's green. That's better. So anyway, so we know they work now. So what I will do is I will fix the controller up on the side here, so then we can have our power supply down here out of the way. Obviously this is the power supply, so we'll have the power supply mounted in there, so it's all tidy out of the way. So yeah, I'll do that and then I'll get it waxed. Right, so the last thing to do on the actual frame and all that is to give it a coat of K brown wax. So that's what we'll do, just to finish it off really. Right, so now we've got that done. One last thing to do, and that's to cut the slats and cut and drill the slats ready to assemble. So I will do those now, and then I'll show you guys when that's all assembled and put up in the bedroom.